The American Association of Individual Investors welcomes you to the Stock Investor Pro video tutorial series. Today, we will discuss how to isolate top passing companies in Stock Investor Pro. AAII tracks over 60 stock screening strategies at the Stock Screens area of AAII.com. The passing company lists and performance data is updated each month, on or around the 15th of the month, depending on whether it falls on a weekday or weekend. One of the key benefits of being a Stock Investor subscriber is that you do not have to wait until the middle of the month to get the updated month-end screening results. Barring any data delivery issues or technical problems, the month-end data is available to subscribers the day after the last trading day of each month. The vast majority of the screens we track at AAII.com are pre-built into Stock Investor Pro, with a few exceptions, including the Dogs of the Dow screens. For some of the screens we track, we limit the passing companies we display and use for back-tested performance purposes. After watching this video tutorial, you will know how to limit the number of companies passing a given screen to match the results displayed at AAII.com. One of the top performing screens tracked by AAII is the Estimate Revisions Top 30 Up screen. However, this screen is not exactly built into Stock Investor Pro. This is a variation on the EPS Estimated Revisions Up screen that is built into the software. We slightly modify the screen to limit the passing companies to 30. To begin, we must first open the screen editor in Stock Investor Pro. This can be done by clicking on the funnel icon at the top left of the program, by selecting Screen Editor from the Tools menu, or by using the Alt+S keyboard shortcut. Any of these steps will launch the screen editor. The next step is to open the screen we want to edit. So we select the EPS Est Revisions Up screen from the drop-down menu of the screen editor. Selecting a screen from within the screen editor will load its criteria into the editor. You are now able to edit, delete, or add any criteria for the screen that is loaded into the table. To see how many companies pass the loaded screen, click the How Many button at the lower right of the screen editor window. With data as of January 29th, 2016, 96 companies passed the EPS Est Revisions Up screen. For the Estimate Revisions Top 30 Up screen we track at AAII.com, however, we only want 30 passing companies. But what 30 companies are they? At the Stock Screens area of AAII.com, we provide the exact screening criteria used to arrive at the results presented at the site. This is where you can also see if we are limiting the passing companies that are presented on the site. For the Estimate Revisions Top 30 Up screening criteria, we see that we limit the passing companies to those 30 with the largest percentage increases in the current year consensus earnings per share, or EPS, estimate over the last month. Now that we know what field is being used to limit the number of passing companies for the Stock Screens page, we must return to Stock Investor and modify the EPS Estimate Revisions Up screen to identify the 30 companies with the largest percentage increases in the current year consensus earnings per share estimate over the last month. The process does require some trial and error, but you will be able to replicate the results that are presented at AAII.com. Here is how you do it. The first step is to add a line of criteria that uses the percentage change over the last month in the consensus earnings estimate for the current fiscal year. In the first empty line after the last criterion line of the EPS Estimate Revisions Up screen, click in the Field cell. This will open the Field Picker with all of the screenable data fields in Stock Investor broken down by data category. The field we are looking for is EPS Est Y0 % Rev last month, which, in plain English, is the percentage change in the EPS estimate for the current fiscal year, Y0, over the last month. This data field is in the Earnings Estimates data category, so from the Field Picker, we have to scroll down alphabetically through the data categories until we come to the Earnings Estimates data category, and then click on the plus sign to the left of the category name. This will then expand the data category to show all of the individual data fields within that category. Again, we scroll through the list of data fields until we come to EPS Est Y0 % Rev last month and double-click on it. Doing so will add the field to the new line of screening criteria. Staying in the same line within the screen editor and moving to the right, we next click in the Operator cell and select Greater Than or Equal To. This means we will be looking for companies with some minimum percentage change in the current fiscal year's consensus earnings estimate over the last month. That value will be entered into the Compare To Field Value Industry cell. Note that we skipped the Factor cell. Clicking in the Compare To cell once again will bring up the Field Picker, just as it did when we clicked in the Field cell. However, we want to enter a numeric value, so we have to click in the cell again in order to get the flashing cursor. Here is where the trial and error starts. Enter in a value and then click the How Many button at the bottom of the screen editor to see how many companies pass for the value you enter. To start, let's enter in 5, which means companies passing the screen have seen their consensus earnings estimate for the current fiscal year increase by at least 5% over the last month. With data as of January 29, 2016, 10 companies passed this screen, down from the original 96 that passed the unedited EPS Estimate Revisions Up screen, but well below the 30 that we are aiming for. Therefore, we need to lower the required percentage change figure. Finally, using 1.6, we arrive at the desired number of passing companies, which is 30. To load these passing companies into the stock notebook for further analysis, we then have to click the Apply button. You may also wish to save the modified screen under a different name for future use. Here is a complete list of the stock screens we track at AAII.com, where we limit the number of passing companies compared to the screening results of the predefined screens in Stock Investor Pro. From this list, the first one is the Buffett-Hagstrom screen. We report only 30 of the companies passing this screen, as indicated by the number in parentheses following the screen name. In Stock Investor, the screen is titled Buffett-Hagstrom with the asterisk prefix. In order to isolate the top 30 companies passing the Buffett-Hagstrom screen, we use the PFCF to FGF growth field that is in the Multiples data category. Remember, you can view the screening criteria for all of the screens we track at AAII.com to see how we limit the passing companies, if and when we do. As a Stock Investor Pro subscriber, you have access to the month-end data used to update the AAII stock screens roughly 2 weeks before those with basic AAII membership. After watching the Stock Investor video tutorial, You now know how to fully replicate the screening results that are presented at the Stock Screens area of AAII.com. This concludes this installment of the Stock Investor Pro video tutorial series. To view more of these tutorials to unlock the full value of your Stock Investor Pro subscription, visit the Stock Investor area of AAII.com and select the Video Tutorials link. The Stock Investor area of AAII.com also provides a wealth of user resources, including troubleshooting advice. If you have any questions about or problems with Stock Investor Pro, please feel free to contact AAII Technical Support via email at techsupport@aai.com. Thank you for watching this installment of AAII's Stock Investor Pro video tutorial series.